Hello, and welcome to I'll Knit With You. My name is Rebecca. You can find me on Ravelry, Instagram, and Steam as EvilTwin2. You can find show notes on the blog, illknitwithyou.blogspot.com. You can find our group on Ravelry, I'll Knit With You, or you can email me, illknitwithyou@gmail.com. Hi, how are all my owls and my yous? How are you guys? What have you been up to? If you are new to the show, please join the group on Ravelry and go introduce yourself in the introduction thread. Because it's been a while since I've had someone new to introduce. Normally we'd have a segment here called New Franz, but not this week. And that's okay. I like talking about old Franz. My of the same age Franz. You don't have to be old. Sorry. Anyway. Life has been really good. I've been accomplishing a lot of things. In fact, look at this. We'll get there in a second. So one thing I did was I watched Into the Woods. I watched a lot of movies this past 2 weeks. The Disney version of Into the Woods. It was really dark and really good and had some hilarious songs. Agony is my new favorite song. It has two princes that are just being way over the top and it's phenomenal. I then watched it several more times on YouTube and found a bunch of live versions of it and just watched it over and over because it's hysterical. I also saw the new movies La La Land and Split. La La Land was better than I expected and Split was not what I expected. So, just different. I've been playing games more and more because that's part of my New Year's resolution. I've been playing Don't Starve, which is not the game I'm supposed to be playing. I'm supposed to be playing Bioshock 2, which I am still playing, but just Don't Starve is just a classic favorite of mine. It's kind of like if Tim Burton made Minecraft, and at the end of the day, every day, because you have days in Minecraft as well, at the end of the day, the darkness kind of envelops the world, and if you don't have a fire lit, you might die. So it's really fun. It's more survival-y than Minecraft is. But it also has a phone version that I feel is pretty comparable to the computer game version, and I've just been playing that one almost more than the computer game because I find the controls to be more intuitive since you can just touch things. So it's been really, really nice. My House of Leaves book that I've been reading is completely crazy. I've listened to a bunch of audiobooks as well, like Deliverance and The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. Have you read that? It is so good. It is so good. Go read The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. Go do it. After this podcast, I guess. Yes, you can wait. The Knitting Pipeline talked about on her podcast about how she just feels like she's got project overload. Like she's got so much stuff to work on. That's definitely what I was feeling these past 2 weeks, which is what I said in podcasts. I was like, I just need to work on stuff. I don't have time. I don't have time to podcast. I gotta work on stuff. So I did accomplish a few things. So let's move on to all of that. So let's move on to bobbins. I am on my third bobbin of my notes are over here. So I hope you don't feel like I'm ignoring you or anything. I'm just trying to make sure I get all the information correct. So I'm trying to tell you more information about the projects I'm working on. Part of my resolution is to get you all the information. The Ohio Valley Natural Fibers. I'm doing 3 bobbins and I'm going to 3-ply them to hopefully like a DK sport weight kind of thing. So here's 2 bobbins all spun up. Obviously this one has less on it. I have more fiber to spin. But the second bobbin looks pretty much like this bobbin. So then I'm going to put some more on this one. I'm just going to work it out. I may do a 4th bobbin just because I have a little bit extra. I'm not really sure where it should go. And that way I don't have to end up with one bobbin that has way more on it. I can just start applying from the 4th bobbin when I run off of one. So I haven't decided. I've got bobbins to spare right now, so I think that might be a good choice for me. Definitely, right? So this is going really great. Here is what it looks like in fiber form, because I do have a little bit left. It's just purple and shiny and wonderful. And I don't spin solid colors very often, so this is pretty exciting. After this, up here you can see my next spin. This is my spins to come. My next spin is going to be this right here. It's going to be this Phoenix fiber in the Twilight colorway. Isn't it lovely? Not Twilight like the book, Twilight like the time of day. And I will be plying this, which is not the original plan, but I will now be plying with this with some of this navy. And this navy is from the same farm that this purple is from. I bought them at the same... So I bought a pound of this and then traded a little bit of it with one of my friends. So I think this will be really good. I think it'll all even out. Nice. So that is where my owl is going. It's a little bit behind. I was hoping to have half done by the time January started, but I have until the end of January to get to that half. but I am spinning more than I was, so that's an improvement, which means the more that I spin, the better my spinning gets. So nothing wrong with that. But one of the reasons I've not been working on my spinning quite as hard is because when I'm at home, I try to do crafts that I can't do when I'm out and about. So one of those things is weaving. So I do have some for full of it this week. I finished my scarf. So here it is in its plaid-ish glory. It's not totally a plaid, but it's not totally not a plaid. The blue, Blue Moon Fiber Arts BFL Sport felted really, really well, whereas the Set Phasers to Stun, which is Western Sky Knits, I have it written down for you, didn't really felt at all. And the Noro yarn is kind of an in-between. But if you look, the blue is just like extra fuzzy. And it actually made it really wavy looking when it really wasn't this wavy looking when I was weaving. So it's kind of got these wavy edges because it's a little bit unbalanced. So I may iron it. I'm not really sure how to combat that. But my fringe looks ridiculous right now. I need to go clean up my fringe to make it all the same length. But it exists and it didn't come untied, so that's always a good thing. To remind you, these are the yarns that I used over here, and they're caked up versions except for this one. Set Phasers Stun was a failed project, but not forever. Blue Moon Fiber Arts was just some pretty yarn that I had in my stash, and this was actually yarn that I won. I will never buy this yarn ever because, and I'm using it in a time when it's being tugged harder than it would be for knitting, but it just was tangly and it caught on itself. And this is the Noro Silk Garden Sock Solo, so it's a single ply. It's silk. It's kind of like if you've ever spun with silk noil. Like, it's kind of a mess sometimes. This is like knitting with that. Not a huge fan. Not a huge fan. And that's okay. I don't have to like everything, right? That's cool. So the weaving was really, really fun. And I am done with it. I don't have the yardage information for you right now. But this was on a Shocked, I think it's Shocked who makes the Cricut looms. Rigid Heddle loom. And it's pretty dang long. So, I mean, my wingspan is 5 foot long, and this exceeds that by maybe a foot. So, it's excellent. I haven't worn it out and about yet because I wanted you guys to see it first before anyone else. But I think it looks rather fetching. So, and it kind of matches my hat, which we're getting to. The one whip I have right now, I didn't bring with me to show you because it's kind of just lace and it just looks like barf. I only did like a line or two on it. It's the Papa Frey shawl that I've been working on for quite some time. It is out of Juniper Moon Farms, Finley, in the bright yellow lace. So, I mean, it's just going. It's not an exciting pattern anymore because it's really repetitive. And whenever I knit on it, my elbow starts to hurt. Like, I don't have a repetitive stress injury from knitting currently. But when I work on that, I feel like I do. But only that yarn. I don't know if it's because it's lace, if it just treats me differently, or what's going on. So I'm trying to figure that out. So I'm not working on it a whole lot. But what happened is that I got all my January classes turned in and didn't have anything to work on that I could work on the go. So that fits my purse. This lace is not that heavy or big or large. It is complicated, but the complicated part isn't the problem. So I do have some FOs for you though. So one of them is my awesome hat. I made myself another Copycat CC beanie, which is by Emily Ingrid. This is Blue Moon Fiber Arts. I'm familiar because it's the same thing that was on my scarf. This is the same exact yarn, just in a different colorway. This is True Blood. And it's very pretty. It's very nice red. I use this on a sweater that I knit. If you remember the 3-in-1 sweater, if you visit my projects page ever, it is part of that sweater. And I bought more than enough for that sweater, and then I bought another skein of it because I like working with this color of red. This yarn is very pilly, very felty, but it's really great for like hats and stuff, and it's just such a good maroony red, dark red kind of color. I just want more of it. I also finished a couple of squares on my thing. I think I'm going to be done with this for a while. I'm going to hang it up over here to remind myself that it's beautiful and I don't have to work on it right now. I might take it down because that also stretches the yarn out, but it's okay for the podcast, right? So I did these 2 squares over here. They're not that impressive, so I'm not going to show them to you. This is the same as the rainbows that have been going up and down. And this yarn over here, I don't even know what it is. Because, so the memory from that yarn is when I was in college, probably a sophomore, the guy I was dating at the time, took me on his family vacation with him to Wisconsin. We went camping. It was really, really fun. But on the way up there, or there, I don't remember where I was at, I decided I want to learn how to make socks. And I bought a sock book that is in the shape of a sock. And I bought some sock yarn. And this is what the lady suggested to me. And she was like, do you knit on gauge? Are you loose knitter? Are you tight knitter? I was like, I obviously don't know the answers to this. This is before Ravelry existed. This should have been like 2006, 2007. I think Ravelry started in 2008, right? So, yeah, I did not know what I was doing. And that yarn still is not socks and will never be socks. I feel like it's in a couple other blankets that I've done because I'm just not sure on the yardage. And I thought all of these yarns I had were measured, but this yarn was not. And so I actually had to measure it afterwards and figure it out backwards because I did weigh it before and after, but I didn't know the yardage on it. So for that, I just took, over here, you can buy them at Joann's. They just measure yardage as you're pulling something through it. So if you're putting it onto a cake, they'll measure yardage that way, but they skip so they don't catch all the yards. So I kind of have to like use it as a rough guesstimate kind of thing. Like at first it said that this took 6 yards, and there's just no way. These squares take at least 12 to 20 yards, if not more. I will take it off and show you, I guess. So I did have to like rework the numbers a little bit, and I usually measure it twice in the cake if I'm gonna pull it through the thing to measure it. So I'll take this off the wall because now I've got it down anyway. But I hope that filled out space really nicely for the podcast. Maybe I'll just put something new there every week. But anyway, so that's what's going on with that. I have an almost whip. I realize this is not a whip. This is kind of like imaginary knitting. But I'm going to start my Chasing Butterflies cardigan today. And this is the yarn that I'm using. It's 3 Irish Girls in the Geneva colorway. Something like that. It's going to be really pretty. I don't have anything in this color in my closet right now, which is a shame. I have like more blue teals instead of like minty greens. I have a lot of them, in fact. So, oh my gosh, I can see the thing that I'm looking at, and I'm not even connecting the dots. I'm trying to keep track of my notes. I'm trying to keep track of you guys. Okay, so this was on a size 8, by the way. That's useful information 10 minutes after the fact, right? Sure. So, remember last time how I was like, I'm doing too many blankets. I gotta stop doing blankets. Guess what I started? Another blanket. So, I've got them blocked out for you right now. It's my blocking board. Do you like this? Is this fun? So this is the Persian Dreams blanket. You may have seen it and thought, wow, that looks gorgeous. I will never, ever, ever, ever make that. There are 3 versions of it. There's a fingering weight version, a sport weight version, and a worsted weight version. The sport weight has all of their stuff in 2 colors, which then inspired me to do the worsted weight one in 2 colors. So right now I'm using Cascade 220 in the army green colorway and the gray feather colorway. The gray feather is the gray, and the army green is the green. It's shocking right now. This is my second square. Wait, which one's the... Yeah, this is the second one I did. And this is the... Sorry for making sure. Okay. First one I did. And I've got them all blocked out for you right now, so you can see exactly what they look like without me having to stretch them and hold them open for you. I thought this was a little bit easier since I can pick this board up. And hopefully not stab myself in the face with the back of this pointy board. I'm good. These are bamboo skewers. A lot of people in the Eat Sleep Knit group who this is their belong this year. So last year they did the Carson throw. Wow, my words are really slurry. Last year they did the Carson throw, and this year they're doing the Persian Dreams blanket. Last year I didn't. A circular blanket like that doesn't really appeal to me. This appeals to me. Modular blankets are my jam, if you cannot tell. So there they are. There's my 2. And to make the 24 that you need, you just have to do 2 a month. So that's kind of their goal for us. So this is my 2 for this month. Now, I don't know that I'm going to do the same dark color every month. So some people are doing gradient yarns for their color work, which is gorgeous. And Freya Hand Paints, the people that I made my awesome hat out of that I showed you last time, my CC beanie, that's like 17 colors in the strike set, yellow and Ghost of Navy, or royal blue. They do a worsted weight one, which would be plenty of yardage for 2 of these. Because it's about 100-ish yards, I think, for the contrast color for the CC, not the main color. And so I think I might try that out. Because I like the green, but I feel like, what if I did every month as a different color? Because I bought the army green initially to be a sweater. So if I stop now, I still have plenty of yarn left for a sweater. And then I can buy yarn every month. then not feel bad about it. There's also that's a driving factor. But I have to use all Eat Sleep Knit yarn in order for it to count for the knit along. So there's that too. So but I try this year. It's not quite as inviting as it was last year, where you collected all the buttons to all the different planets in the solar system. It's like Candyland. Not as exciting for me, but that's okay because I don't even buy yarn because I'm on a yarn diet 2017, right? So those are my blanket squares. These are my FOs. This is life. I have some mustache for you. I've not been showing you a lot of mustache because I talked to some knitters at a retreat, the SSK retreat, and they kind of talked about how sometimes they feel nervous for the person who's podcasting, showing all this yarn they buy all the time, and it gets overwhelming, and you're like, oh, dude, your pocketbook, no, don't do that. You're on a yarn diet, and so. It's kind of a weird consumerist thing to show off my purchases. So now I'm going to be, it's my mustache section is like, oh no, you must put this in your stash. Instead of like, oh, look what I bought at the thing. Now I'm going to show you stuff from like SSK and stuff like that, but like everyday purchases, do you need to know if I buy a skein of Cascade 220? Is that really important to you? It's probably not important to you. So I'm kind of altering that segment, and I feel better about it. I feel a lot better about it. So this is something I bought recently, but I also think that it's amazing and everyone should have some. So I joined the, so Starknits is a person from the Weasley Sisters podcast. And that is a podcast that I found when I first started really, really knitting. I was looking for good, really, really knitting podcasts. And that's how I found the Harry Potter House Cup. So it's all really neat and tidy. And she hosts a podcast with her sister. But she is also a bag maker, and her sister is naturally knitting. She does the poonies that everyone loves, right? They're a pretty good team. So I joined Starknits bag club for 3 months, and I get stitch markers and a bag. So I'm gonna show you the bag. I like her stitch markers. They're paper stitch. They're paper bead stitch words. They are paper bead stitch markers. And they're nice, but I'm not sure where I put them because I use them for my stuff. So this is the first bag she sent me, because she also sent me a little questionnaire like, what do I like, what do I not like? And I remembered seeing this in her shop, this fabric. And it's her and her sister as the Weasley Sisters podcast with like a little bit of Hogwarts overtone to it. Look at that. I was like, do you still have any of that left? I'd really like a bag out of that. And then I didn't have to order it separately, like, because these are a little bit more expensive because it's Spoonflower, and then my monthly club kind of pays for that. So that was a little nice. And she's totally cool with it. And it's a box bag. It's very nice. It's got a handle and keyring. She doesn't put anything on her zippers, so it's kind of hard to get a hold of the zippers if they're matching in. But honestly, I can just tie something around it. It doesn't bother me that much. But that's this bag. I did also order a bag to have delivered with this bag. And this is her triangle shape bag. A triangle bag. I hadn't really seen triangle bags, and I was like, I like the shape, that's weird, okay, and the fabric is funny. The fabric is a pun. It says, you are stressing me out. No, this one says, live your life in the meow. Sorry, another meow pun, apparently. Live your life in the meow. So the zipper is there, and this is the shape of it. Now, at first I was like, I like this because it's an interesting design, but it fits when I sit on a couch really well. So I'll sit with my legs on either side of it. So like this. It's kind of hard to show you. Like this. And then this kind of sits in the middle with the bag open, the zipper up. And so, I don't know, it just sits really, really well. It doesn't fall around or scooch or whatever. So this is kind of perfect for me. I like it very much. It had a project in it until my hat came out of it. So, and then this one is what I'm using for my Persian Dreams because I can hold... Remember that Cascade 220 I was telling you about that you were so excited to see? It can hold 2 skeins of Cascade 220 side by side, which is like something they should list on the selling page, right? So they're in there. Can you kind of see them? So that way I can just knit my blanket squares without any issues. So that's pretty awesome. And for my blanket squares, I've been using... Oh, dude, I totally have the stitch markers in here. Oh, man. Bad podcaster. So these are the stitch markers that I was trying to show you, and you can see the logo right there. But they're really nice, and they're really big, and the loops don't catch on things. Like I've had problems with looped stitch markers like this catching on things and snagging in my knits, but these I really don't have a problem with, and they're really cute, and they're very bright, so they're easy to find against my yarn. which is nice. So to knit my Persian Dreams, I've been using my Knit Pick shorties since I bought a set. Look how tiny. See if this is a little easier to see right there. But I even magic loop the beginning on this when you start with like 12 stitches. So they're working out for me really well. Sometimes it's a little tight, and by the end I have too many stitches to deal with. So it's kind of like, no matter what I do, I'm not going to be happy. And if I do it on DP ends, I'm not going to like that either. So this isn't the best solution for me. Also, I love needles like this anyway. So that is my mustache, you guys. You should go check out Star Knits on Etsy. Get some of her bags. Be in a club with me. Or no, she didn't sponsor this. I don't care if you buy it or not. I just really like them. I think they're very sturdy, good bags. So that's pretty much my whole podcast. I didn't mention this last time, and this I haven't updated since last time, so you missed it. Last time I was at 380 points in the Pigskin Party. Right now I'm at 476. Whoa! I added a bunch of stuff that I've been procrastinating and not updating. So in my yarn diet last time I was at 21 points. This time I'm at 32 points. Last time I had gained 0.6 pounds. Right now I am down. Yeah, I'm negative pounds right now, you guys. I'm negative 1.7 pounds. That's awesome. I wasn't down at all last year. So I'm really excited about that. Last time I was down 0.7 miles, which means I am under yardage, not above, and I want to be above yardage. To see how far I've knit this year. So right now I'm in negative knitting miles. And I'm still negative 0.71 knitting miles, but part of that is because for my fiber example, for my thing I'm spinning, I've got the fiber in there, but I don't know how many yards I've got yet. And I measure that by the singles. And so I don't know what that's going to be. So that makes sense why I'm down weight, but not down as many yards. So looking forward to hopefully being all positive, ready for the rest of the year. That'd be really cool. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, you guys. But anyway, whether you're measuring your knitting or just going with the flow, just knitting, I'll knit with you. Bye, guys.